Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sahlgrenska Global Health Hackathon live session number 3. Today, it's all about challenge number 5, smart, safe, and sustainable healthcare. So this is the third of the live session that we already had. So some of you might be already familiar what's going to happen. So here is the agenda for you guys. After my short welcome, we will have Jamie Smith on the floor telling a little bit more about the hackathon, the challenges, and basic information about the hackathon itself. Then we will welcome our speakers, our amazing speakers from challenge number 5, which are Kristina Lönnqvist and Judith Hargreaves. And after that, after this 20 minutes of presentation, we will have a Q&A session. And after the Q&A session, we will wrap it up. We will provide you with all the information to join the hackathon. So before we start, some house rules. The meeting, as you can see, is being recorded and will be made available on YouTube and Eventornado under the live sessions tab. So all of the rest of the other two live session number 1 and 2 are already available there if you want to see them. With this information, I want also to tell you that you can ask any question anytime using the Zoom chat here in Zoom at any point during the meeting, and we will answer them, as I said before, during the Q&A session. And yes, with this, I would like to welcome again Jamie Smith, Communication Consultant at Sahlgrenska Science Park. Hello, Jamie. How are you doing?
Hi, Michele. It's lovely to see you. I think we got some people in the waiting room, so if you could just make sure we can admit them. Wonderful. Thanks very much, Michele. So, yeah, it's wonderful to have this third webinar about the Sahlgrenska Global Health Hackathon. Maybe if you can move the slide on, Michele, and we can let you know a little bit more about what this is all about. So, but it's yeah, we're really, really excited to be collaborating with a lot of fantastic organizations and partners to bring the Sahlgrenska Global Health Hackathon to life. So it's a series of on-site weekend innovation hackathons. So there's no coding experience necessary. It's for people from all sectors and all backgrounds. We just want people to bring ideas, interests, and insights, and we'll support with the rest. So it really is open for everyone. We're planning to take this hackathon concept to 6 countries next year, starting in Sweden on 1st and 2nd of February, and going all the way around the world to 3 continents, and back for a grand final in Gothenburg in October next year. So we've got a year of excitement to get going with. So, and a hackathon, maybe excuse me, I can just clarify. When we talk about a hackathon, we're talking about an event where people come together to collaborate, to solve a problem, or to identify new opportunities. So anyone can join and make a difference. So let's take a look at the challenges, Michele, if you'd like to go on to the next slide. These are the 5 challenges that we're working with, and we would like participants to come up with ideas around. There are 5 of the most pressing global health challenges worldwide. And if we can go to one more slide, because today we are going to zoom in on challenge number 5, which is smart, safe, and sustainable healthcare. So the healthcare sector accounts for approximately 4.4% of global greenhouse emissions. So what we want to do is see how we can minimize hospitals and healthcare's climate footprint, hazardous waste and emissions, while also improving patient and staff health and safety. So with us today, we are very, very excited to have 2 representatives from a partner organization. It's Mölnlycke Healthcare, which is a world-leading medtech company. So if you haven't already checked out Mölnlycke Healthcare, make sure you do that very, very soon. But here to tell us more about how Mölnlycke is working with smart, safe, and sustainable healthcare are Kristina Lönnqvist. She's the Global Corporate Sustainability Director. And we also have Judith Hargreaves as well joining us. Judith is the Vice President for health economics, and government affairs. So we're very, very excited to have them with us. And without further ado, Kristina, over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Jamie. And while my colleague Linda is kind to get the presentation slides up on the board, I would like to say that I'm super excited to be here. I'm really happy to see so many people on the call. And I'm happy to be here to introduce Mölnlycke Sustainability Roadmap, and with that, hopefully also inspire to new, different, exciting, impactful collaborations on innovation for smart, safe, and sustainable healthcare. And by that, Linda, we can go to the next slide. Maria Kök reaching out to the healthcare industry asking, isn't there really another way? Transition to a sustainable healthcare doesn't happen overnight. It's done in small steps across the entire life cycle of medical supplies. And we can go to the next slide. We Care is our sustainability roadmap for 2030. And Mölnlycke are committed to transforming our business to become a global leader in sustainable healthcare. And to us, this means embedding sustainability in every aspect of our operations, offers, and partnerships. And We Care is also aligned with the company purpose to revolutionize care for people and planet. And you can also see in the outer circle on the visual on the screen here that We Care is focused on delivering, if we start at the top, sustainable healthcare solutions, decarbonized healthcare, zero waste, circular economy business models. And if we look at the left side of the outer wheel, we have more the people-focused areas of zero injuries and harm, diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplace, human rights protection, empowered communities, and sustainable supply and distribution. And if we go to the next slide, please. Here are some of our KPIs for 2025 and how we will measure our progress for people. So you can see on the top that we are measuring the engagement index around diversity, equity, and inclusion. We also have a measurement around human rights impact assessments performed on all our in all our value chains, and also improving the life of 10,000 children through our global community support program in Cebu. And we can go to the next slide. Following, here are a couple of our KPIs for measuring progress for planet. And as you can see on the top here, we aim to reduce our absolute greenhouse gas emissions in scope 1 and 2 by 50%, and in scope 3 by 20%. By 2028, we are also measuring zero operational waste by 2050 and zero operational waste to landfill by 2030. Cross-pillar, 100% of key business partners. We should have sustainability assessed, and also 30% of our sales revenue should come from leading sustainable solutions by 2030. And we are also looking at measuring the progress on circular economy business models through increased sales year on year. Yes, next slide, please. Today, we are tackling critical challenges. How can we develop a smart, safe, and sustainable healthcare? How can we help the healthcare sector to reduce emissions and waste in every procedure while ensuring we never compromise on the preventive standards that protect both our patients and also our healthcare professionals? And this is much more than a conversation about efficiency. It's really about rethinking how we care for people and the planet at the same time. And we are super excited to explore these ideas together with you. We can basically apply the principles of circular economy to every step of the medical supply life cycle through design. So the circular economy is a system where materials never become waste and nature is regenerated. Through design, products and materials are kept in circulation through processes like maintenance, recycling, refurbishing. And the circular economy tackles climate change and other global challenges like biodiversity loss, waste, and pollution by decoupling economic activity from the consumption of finite resources. And the medtech sector currently mostly bears responsibility for the design and manufacturing phases of the product life cycle, but there is a lot more to do here to decouple delivering services to the healthcare sector from resource constraints and to decarbonize healthcare. Next slide, please. And at Mölnlycke, we explore already today several work streams aligned with the principles of circular economy. And the responsibility of medical device suppliers does not end at the factory gates. It needs to be extended to the entire life cycle. And we need to carefully evaluate the sustainability aspects of each product throughout its lifespan, including activities like transportation to the hospital, product use, transportation to disposal, and the disposal itself. Yes, next slide, please. And manufacturers of medical supplies like Mölnlycke need to take a holistic perspective and work with standardized comparable methods like ISO-based life cycle assessments. Healthcare professionals and the procurement teams, they need the corporates' help with taking informed decisions with respect to the sustainability aspects of various solutions available on the market. The labeling needs to be standardized across regions. Information about every product needs to be intuitive and comparable. And finally, and probably the most important aspects of them all of the sustainability aspects needs to be measured against the central goal of healthcare systems, delivering optimal patient outcomes. Compromising product quality is not an option. Hospital-acquired infections entail more inpatients, more resources used, more time spent in the OR, and additional cost for the healthcare systems. Yes, we can take the next slide. So answering to Maria Kök's question, which we post in the video in the beginning, we can say there is another way. Mölnlycke has already started 2 pilots in Europe on closing the loop for medical supplies. And this cross-sector industry collaboration might bring a disruptive transformation in healthcare. Next slide, please. So for a couple of minutes, imagine yourself or imagine a healthcare system where healthcare professionals spend much less time preparing instruments and supplies for procedures. There is much less waste, and you don't need to sort or dispose the waste after procedure. Where the manufacturer, like Mölnlycke, collects the waste at the hospital to retrieve raw materials and components for recycling, so that many more patients can benefit from finite resources without deterioration in the quality and safety of the product being used. And if the sustainability aspects in this cradle-to-cradle approach are rigorously calculated and turned out to have a positive impact on the environment, well, then it's also the patient and the healthcare system that benefits. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce my dear colleague, our VP Health Economics and Government Affairs, please, Judith Hargreaves.
Thank you so much, Kristina. So as Kristina has shown, you know, and I'm sure we all agree, sorry, can we go back one? You know, protecting our planet is an extremely important part of sustainable healthcare. But, you know, as we've mentioned through the We Care programme, it's not just about environmental impact, it's also about the people aspect. So we need to look at a holistic approach to sustainable healthcare. So what I want to do now is talk a little bit more about that people side and that people impact. But before I do that, I want to go back to, well, what are those challenges? What are the challenges that are preventing us from delivering sustainable healthcare? Next slide, please. So I'm sure that we're all familiar with all of these, you know, everything from aging population, the insufficient funding, and we can all agree that no matter how much money we spend on healthcare, it will always be insufficient. But I just want to really highlight a couple of the things on here. When we talk about aging population, it comes up all the time. Everybody talks about the impact of aging population, but what does that actually mean? You know, if we just look at an example for the UK, for example, we currently have a population over the age of 65 of round about 20% of our population. However, that 20% of the population consumes more than 50% of the healthcare resources that we actually have. Now, if you take a country like Japan, Japan has a population over the age of 65 of around about 36% of the population. Now, if you look at that in even more detail, people over the age of 80 consume about 11 times more healthcare resources than somebody in their 20s. So for a population like Japan, with 10% of the population over the age of 80, that has a huge impact on their ability to be able to provide sustainable healthcare. If we take one more aspect of here and we look at the environmental challenges, we've talked about the environment, but what about that environmental impact on the people? So if we look at somewhere like the Indian subcontinent, because of the rising temperatures, because of climate change, they are constantly being hit with floods. Those floods are introducing contaminated water into the waste systems. So they now have excrement in their water systems. That's leading to some of the biggest outbreaks of cholera that they've ever seen, which is a massive healthcare problem. In South America, they have increasing heat and heat waves constantly. That's massively increased the amount of respiratory diseases, particularly asthma, and also deaths related to heart conditions. You know, so these are not just numbers. It's not just about protecting the planet. It's a real person impact that these challenges are having. Next slide, please. So when we talk about social healthcare system and delivering healthcare, at the moment we are constantly reacting. We're reacting and treating people who are sick as well as we can. But that's not what healthcare systems were actually put in place for. Healthcare systems were put in place to keep people fit, healthy and productive so that they can add to the economy. If we keep responding to challenges just to treat sick people, we're actually converting from a healthcare service to a sick care service. And really, we need to get back to being a healthcare service and start looking at prevention and helping the educate the population to remain fit and healthy. Next slide, please. So why do we need sustainable healthcare? Sustainable healthcare is important because it helps maintain, restore health while minimizing the negative impacts, and that benefits the health and the well-being of both the current population, but also our future generations. It helps keep harmful items out of the environment. It ensures that healthcare needs of both the current population are met, but without compromising the environmental, the economical, and the social resources for future generations. And it is about understanding that health and our environment are intrinsically linked. And by acting to protect health, we can also act to protect our environment at the same time. Next slide, please. So when we talk about the pillars of sustainable healthcare, we have the 3 pillars. We have the planet, we have the pathways, and we have the people. We've already looked at the planet through Kristina's presentation, but let's talk about the pathways in a little bit more detail, because having the right pathways in place helps us look at that economic impact of our solutions and how we deliver healthcare. So when we talk about reducing negative impacts, reducing things like surgical site infections, reducing readmissions into hospitals, all of those have an impact on not only the cost of delivering healthcare, but also the environmental impact of delivering healthcare. So we need to make sure that we have the right pathways in place, the right reimbursement systems to deliver quality of care. We need early diagnosis, early treatment. We need to get things right first time and not have to repeat. We need to understand the part that digital technology plays and how to utilize it within our healthcare systems. And we need to look at the total impact of all of our resources, not just the monetary resources, but our human resources as part of that delivery of care. Next slide, please. So when we talk about the impact on people, it's not just the impact on our patients, because at the end of the day, most of healthcare and most of the cost in healthcare is the staff that provide that healthcare. Without a healthcare staffing, without our doctors, without our nurses, we would not have a healthcare system. And we currently have a healthcare system where our staff are fatigued, they're overworked, they're suffering from burnout, their well-being is being impacted, and they're leaving the healthcare service. Without them, we don't have a healthcare service. We also need to look at how we empower patients, because it's not just about giving patients choice around their healthcare. It's about empowering patients to understand the part that they play in being healthy and being an important part of that healthcare delivery, and encouraging those healthy lives and healthy lifestyles. Next slide, please. So let's focus a little bit more on staff burnout. So staff burnout, we all understand it, and it's, you know, a major crisis that's going on in our healthcare system at the moment. But what does it actually mean to the provision of healthcare? So staff burnout is a burnout that's related to the delivery of care. It happens in the hospital systems, and it's part of their work process, and it impacts on their quality of life, both at the work, but also in their home as well. While the impact is felt individually, however, it's generated within the healthcare system. Approximately 1 in 3 clinicians actually experience burnout at any time, and as a result, many of them are leaving the healthcare profession. The issue of burnout has been highlighted because of COVID, but it's not a COVID-related issue. It was already there before COVID, and all COVID has done is brought it to the forefront and made it more noticeable and the impact more noticeable. Operating room staff particularly are most vulnerable to a staff burnout. They have high levels of stress, and because of the high levels of stress and that constant need to deliver on care, that really impacts on their ability to control their stress levels. There was a recent publication in the UK, which was undertaken by the University of Surrey, that basically said that over 4,000 deaths per year in the UK can be directly attributed to the turnover rates and the high turnover rates of staff, and particularly nurses and doctors within hospitals. So, you know, it's beyond a safety issue. This is people are now dying because of staff burnout and high turnover levels. Next slide, please. So at Mölnlycke, we've recently undertaken a piece of research where we've been looking more in depth of some of these issues related to staff burnout and what that actually means to our patients and to the staff and their ability to deliver safe quality outcomes to their patients. So in the OR, the incidence of anaesthesia delays and missed items occurred in 19% of all theatre cases. Surgeons and anaesthesiologists have reported to be influencing both positively and negatively the impact of the turnover time of procedures. So if they're stressed, they're burnt out, they're losing patients, that can negatively impact and increase the time. Where if they are less stressed and happier in their work, that can actually positively impact on the overall turnover time. Most failures and errors within operating theatres occur because of a breakdown of communication. There has to be a really solid team approach to delivery of healthcare within a theatre. And if that doesn't occur, we get mistakes and we get impacts on patient safety. And we found that the literature reported 65% of cases had failures of communication that led to errors. Staff turnover was linked to the impact on teamwork, as we said before. 73% of cases said where there was a breakdown of teamwork, it was directly related to the high turnover of staff. Burnout was also associated with a 2.5-fold increase in medical errors, so a direct consequence to patients. A second meta-analysis that was undertaken, which had over 5,000 patients involved, deduced that physician burnout was associated with an increased risk of patient safety events, reduced patient satisfaction, and poor quality outcomes. All of these factors have an impact on hospitals' ability to deliver safe, quality outcomes, and that in turn impacts on the ability to deliver on sustainable healthcare. So we need to really make sure we focus on not just the patients and patients' choice, but anything that impacts on that ability of our staff to be able to deal with their stress and deliver those outcomes. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Judith, and Kristina as well. So yeah, that research from the University of Surrey, about 4,000 people dying each year directly attributed to staff burnout. That's very scary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we excuse me, encourage people to post any questions to Kristina and Judith in the chat. Also want to say thank you for Linda for doing a great job with the slides. While we're waiting for some questions to come in, maybe I can ask, so this is an innovation hackathon. It's about coming out of new ideas. So what do you see are the main barriers to innovation within social healthcare systems? Maybe Judith, you want to take that one?
Yeah, happy to take that. So healthcare systems are constantly crying out for innovation. They want to be able to deliver innovation. However, you know, if we look at the way that healthcare systems are funded, the challenge they have on workload, every time we introduce a new innovation, they have to be able to prove that it's valuable, prove with evidence that it impacts positively on the patients. All of that takes time, energy, and resources. So it's not that there's a lack of willingness to adopt new technologies and to adapt innovation, but the challenge is finding the resource and the time to make sure we have the right things in place to address that. Also, we have issues around how healthcare is funded. If it's not funded in the right way, it limits the opportunity to introduce innovation as well. So again, we need to be talking at the higher level, at that policy level, to make sure that the right funding mechanisms are in place to deliver the right quality of healthcare that incorporates innovation in the right way at the right time.
Great. Thanks very much, Judith. And maybe building on that, Kristina, so how do you think innovators can balance patient safety and infection prevention with sustainability goals?
I don't think we should see that balancing patient safety and sustainability, it's not a trade-off. I think we should look at it as an opportunity to innovate, that sort of the intersection between care and responsibility. And I'm just, imagine if every product we design not only met the highest safety standard, but also minimized its footprint on the planet. So the question is not really how do we balance it, but rather how do we align these goals to create something even better?
Very good. Yep. Thanks. There are a few questions and comments coming through the chat. Let me just see if we can take one of them. Thanks, Ulla, for your comments about looking forward to the hackathon. Let's see. Is there a limit to product that you think should have LCAs, or does this include all? How do you balance that? I'm not sure. Can you see the chat function? Maybe we come back to that one. Ivan, does Mölnlycke have a program that considers the ideas of health professionals who meet all the requirements of the hackathon, according to task number 5? I don't know, smart, sustainable healthcare. I think we've kind of looked into that. Mölnlycke's got lots of things going on with circularity and sustainability. So I think we can.
Yeah, and I think we can, if I can chip in a comment on that one, that yes, this is a key priority for Mölnlycke, and we have a lot of programs from all the different perspectives, as also Kristina talked about in the We Care program. But what I want to highlight also is that there are many unsolved challenges in this field, and many collaborations and ideas and innovations that are yet to come in order to solve these challenges. And it could be overwhelming, but we believe in a one step at a time approach. And this is why this hackathon is also so important, bringing different disciplines together, different peoples, different ideas that can innovate together and in small steps move towards some solutions to these very difficult challenges. So I want to encourage everyone to join this and contribute, because we all need to contribute on this journey.
And I'd just like to add to that, if I may, because obviously we talk to our stakeholders all the time. We constantly liaise with healthcare professionals on around how they're delivering healthcare, changes in healthcare, to innovate, but sometimes we're too close to it. So it's really good to have people from maybe outside that are looking at things in a completely different way and coming up with completely novel ideas that maybe people in healthcare haven't actually thought about. So, don't just limit it to healthcare. Is there something in education that we've not thought about? Is there something in engineering that we haven't thought about? It's good to have all of those inputs to say, how can we learn from all the different types of industry and bring that in to say, well, how can that benefit healthcare as well?
Thank you. I saw, just noticed Permo, and now I can see who Permo is. Per, it's lovely to see you. And so you are on the front line here, working in healthcare. So I saw your comment about a critical barrier against innovation being tradition. Do you have any more comments or questions to the Mölnlycke team?
Several comments. I'm thrilled to hear the presentations, because they're really, you could say, is it only about sustainable healthcare? No, this is about how you run a good business. I mean, all those questions that you addressed, we are constantly battling with these in order to have an efficient workplace, to have a good organization, to keep our staff. But it's very interesting to see it framed in a sustainability envelope, because it is that as well. And then someone asked, what are the critical barriers against innovation in the healthcare system? I think we are, as professionals, we are taught that things should be done in a certain way. So there's a pride in your profession as a physician or as a scrub nurse or whatever. And with that comes also a sense of it has to be done the way that it always was done, right? Mm-hmm. And in change, as we know, change is always hard. To change systems or people is hard. And one barrier against that is often that you are afraid of doing errors. And there comes the perceived trade-off between, if we do it in a new way, a smarter way, maybe we jeopardize patient safety. And that, to me, as working as an anesthesiologist, one of the key factors is that if we want to do a change that we believe in, we always have to address the fear of our staff that maybe this jeopardizes patient safety. But as Linda said, very often it's not a trade-off, it's just a new way to do it.
Great, thanks very much, Per. And I think it's fantastic to have healthcare and industry discussing this topic together. Wonderful. We've just got just 2 more minutes, so we're going to wrap this up on time. So I just wanted Linda, Kristina, Judith, just any closing words. Why should people join the hackathon, and why should they choose challenge number 5?
Well, I can very quickly say that I'm really in favor of collaborations, and we try to embrace that within Mölnlycke. And I really think magic happens when people come together. And you know, it's really not what one single actor do. It's really what happens and the questions we ask each other when we come together cross sectors. So please stop thinking, just jump on the train and join us on this fantastic opportunity. I really see it as a win-win, and we are quite fun working with at Mölnlycke. So happy to see you all.
Great, thank you. You know, with that, so maybe we could just quickly, Michele, wrap it up with where people can find more information. Before you do that, I just want to say thank you so much for Kristina and Judith and Linda, our fantastic presenters from Mölnlycke, and also Per for hopping in there as well. Yeah, Michele, wrap this up for us.
Yes, so I have left in the chat for you all the links to the reference to the Sahlgrenska Global Health Hackathon. So we have a web page, we have a LinkedIn page, and also you can follow the hackathon on Instagram. How can you register if you're not registered yet? It's very simple. You go to eventornado.com/events, you click on your local hackathon, and then you proceed from there. You click on register. It's very simple, and you can join. So with this, maybe, Jamie, some words from the amazing partners that we have.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I get to wrap this up then. So yes, here's a wonderful, fantastic partners. You can see Mölnlycke there on the top line to the right. And besides Mölnlycke, AstraZeneca, Microsoft, AFRI, a fantastic bunch of global partners who are supporting us with this. We've also got local organizing hosts in respective countries, BioCat, Smile Ventures in Sweden, Health Tech. You can see them there in Singapore. So thank you to them. Thank you to our speakers today. Thank you to everybody for participating. Please spread the word about the Global Health Hackathon. We're going to come up with the next big thing in health innovation. So thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.